You are now live. Oh, great. All right. Happy Friday. I know there's a slight delay when it comes to live videos, so I just want to say hi to everyone. Thank you for joining. This is a very, very exciting tasting, and hopefully I won't make a fool out of myself, but if I do, I hope it is for your enjoyment. We are just going to wait about a minute before we officially start. I hope you're grabbing a glass of wine or something and having a wonderful start of your weekend. Soon enough-ish. How's everyone doing? If you're on, say hello. Actually, the screen is a little bit far from me, so I might not be able to read it, so forgive me if that's the case. Okay, so it has been a minute. Officially, happy Friday. I've announced earlier, we're gonna do something a little different. So since COVID started, doing a trade tasting has been a little bit harder because there's no in-person tasting like we usually have every single year. So a lot of our rep, and thank goodness for a core event, will send over samples for us to taste at home safely and securely. So today I get to try 4 different bottles from Robert Craig. And I thought I want to make it a little more interesting because no matter how professional you are, there's still that preconception. Like when you see the wine in front of you, when you already know the price point and who makes it, it's easy to kind of put the idea of if you're going to like it or not like it or how you think it tastes like. So today what we're going to do is a single blind tasting. The way we're going to do it is because Robert Craig's wines are pretty massive. If you haven't had them before, all of the wine takes a couple hours, if not more, decanting before it kind of hits its peak, especially recently releases like this. So all 4 of the glasses actually have been poured out already about 2 hours ago. The way I did it is I have actually put a little sticker and labeled them on the bottom. I haven't smelled or tasted any of them. I just poured it and let it sit. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Robert Craig wine, and I'm going to have my lovely assistant, actually my husband, to help mix up the 4 glasses while I close my eye. So I have no idea which one's which. I will taste them. I will tell them how I think of each of the wine, and I'll tell you guys what I think they are. And then we'll see if I get it right or not. And if any of them really stands out, I have talked to my distributor. I'll be able to share some with you. So let's do it. First thing first, let's talk about Robert Craig. So Robert Craig is kind of one of your Napa OG. He was already making wine in his collection back in the 1980s, but he's very entrepreneur and he wanted to start his own winery. So he, together with 3 of his other friends from business school, he started his winery in the 90s. I think the first vintage was 92, 93. And the OG, when he first started, the OG was the Robert Craig Affinity. He had their estate Howell mountain wine, and he also has a Mount Veeder wine because he's a fan of all high mountain, like high elevation Napa fruits. That's what he started with. But through the last 3 decades, he has grown a lot of his portfolio, and he has passed the baton on and added more partner. So one of the newest kind of partner, CEO, director is Alton Sloan. If you ever have a chance to taste with him, his personality is very just amazing. Like he is so passionate about wine, and they continue to kind of establish themselves. It's still a very small family-owned winery. They don't massive produce wine, but they have added a lot of other single vineyard, other AVAs to kind of fill out their portfolio in the last few decades. So we're going to talk about each of the wine before I start tasting them first. So the most, I think, affordable out of this lineup is the 2017. This is the Robert Craig Affinity. I'm sorry, it is a little flip. Has been in the family ever since they started. This is a blend, and this vintage is 76% cap, 8% Merlot, 6% cap from Malbec Petit Verdot. So your classic Bordeaux blend. The AVA for this wine is technically Koonsvel, but when they first started making wine, I don't think Koonsvel was officially an AVA yet. So it's salts of Stag's Leap. I think this is one of their only wine, at least all of this lineup, that is not super high in elevation. Because like I said, he does have a thing for high elevation wine. So this wine is only about 200 to 400 feet in elevation, but the site is very low yielding. So they only produce about 2.8 tons of fruit per acre, which is about half of what most Napa Valley fruit produces. Hence why I think why they have a reputation of having a very massive, really intense, very concentrated, really powerful wine. I think part of it has to do with his winemaking method and how low yielding all of his wines is. So I'm excited to try this because this is their classic wine. I have had it many years. Haven't had it recently, so we'll see. The second wine this is their estate vineyard, of course, the Howell Mountain. So when they started their winery, it was about 25% estate and they bought a lot of fruit, like 75% purchased fruit. But now they're about 85% estate fruit and they've only purchased the last 15% from trusted vineyard or whatever have you. And the 2017 Howell Mountain, this one is also a little, I think all of his wine is a little bit of a blend. It's never like 100% Cab, but because it's more than 75% Cabernet, that's why you can legally call it Cab. So this is 80% Cabernet, 18% Merlot, and 2% Petit Malbec. They own about 8.7 acres of their estate here, and it's high elevation, 2,300 feet in elevation for this wine. The next wine we're gonna taste today is their Spring Mountain. Spring Mountain is one of their newer addition. It is purchased fruit, but it is farmed biodynamically. So I'm very interested to try this one because I feel like anytime when you farm biodynamically, there's always a very distinct taste. So let me see if I'll be able to pick it out in a blind tasting. And it being in Spring Mountain, out of the three, actually has the cooler growing temperature, and it's going to be, at least on paper, the more elegant of them. And it is also about 86% Cabernet and 11% Cab Franc. And so that's why I'm really excited about it. Cab Franc to me always is a little more floral, again, more elegant. So we'll see if it reflects on the palate. And last but not least, I am super excited about this one. This might be new to those of you who might have had Robert Craig before, because this is one of their newest acquisition. This is called a Candlestick Vineyard. It's just on the northern side of the Howell Mountain, south of St. Helena, kind of near the Po Valley region. This was actually replanted, a vineyard planted by the Duckhorn Vineyard back in replanted in 1998 of Old Bordeaux variety. They put it on sale back in 2015. There's quite a few bidder for this vineyard because it's so well located. Apparently one of the most big name bidder that was trying to go for this vineyard was the Jackson family wine, and they had planned, what I heard through the grapevine, to put it in one of their really high-end label, which I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but we're very glad that Robert Craig got it because I think it's a lot more affordable under Robert Craig's label if the Jackson family got it. Knowing which wine they were trying to blend that into, it would have become a very expensive bottle of wine. So this is very exciting, and because it is further north on the northern end, it gets more sun exposure. It's supposed to be the bigger, more massive of the four. And also note that all three of these wines are 17 vintage, and this is 2016. I know Phil is on here, hopefully watching. I forgot to research this part. I kind of want to know, because 16 is their very first release. Like I said, they purchased the vineyard back in 15, so this is the first time they had this wine. I'm curious if they actually aged it in oak and bottled longer. That's why it's only being released now, or if there's other reason, because there's they're all current release, but there's a difference in vintage. So I'm curious to know. Okay, so now that is the basic. We're just gonna go to the tasting part. So my husband, I'm gonna close my eyes. He's just gonna trust me. I mean, I won't know which one's which. And he's going to mix the 4 glasses. Like I said, they've all been pre-labeled, but once he mixes it, he or neither one of us know which one's which, and we'll get started tasting. So Sean, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna close my eyes. You're just gonna mix the glasses and let me know whenever you're happy with them. And it doesn't really matter because I'm just gonna do my best, and we'll see.
Round and round we go, where we stop, nobody knows.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay, you good? All right, let the fun begin. Okay, so one of the thing about tasting is you don't want to stick them into your mouth too quickly because you blow your palate and it's hard to tell. I usually like to do a quick smell of all of them to kind of get a first impression. Then we'll go from there. And then it will be fun because it's all made by the same winemaker, same. So we're really just tasting the terroir. So, all right. So first impression, again, being Robert Craig, I decanted it for 2 hours. They're in the biggest Sommelier Series Bordeaux glasses that I can find. Still super massive, all 4 of them. Okay, so wine number 1. Nice fruit, but I'm seeing a really good kind of that acidity there. There's like an underlining tart fruit that sharper, more racy and more lenient fruit in the back of this first one. Very interesting. That's our first impression. The second wine, a little more herbal on the second wine. Yeah, more minty eucalyptus. Yeah, a little more of that cooler feeling, which is, again, first impression, we don't know that it's deductive tasting, usually leaning to the idea that maybe has either more Merlot or Cab Franc, because that's usually where that elegance comes from. The third one, I do enjoy it because I'm getting a lot of minerality, that soil composition in the third wine. Again, no idea which wine this is. It feels a little bit tighter on the nose, like it still needs more time to decant. Dumbo, sorry, that's my dog in the back. And then the last one. Wow, okay, let's see. This one has like the ripest, fullest, juiciest. It just feels really full and like big and ripe and just bright dark fruit, very, very expressive and really concentrated on the last one here, which again, as a tip, leads me to think it could be the Candlestick, just because it is a 2016. The difference in vintage, the 17 is a little more higher in acid, a little more structure driven, and the 16 is a little bigger and probably drinking a little better right now. The 17 will need a little more time to wait. Now we're gonna put it in the palate and see what we think. Ooh, nice, a little mocha and chocolate coming out again from the first wine. Nice tannin, grippy, full bodied. Yeah, definitely got a good balance between the red fruit and the black fruit and a little bit of herbal in the middle. Just, wow. Good, it's balanced. It needs a little more time in the bottle or decanted, to be honest. Phil, you're so far away, I can't see this. Second one still just have that nice big minty. Yeah, in comparison, the second one on the palate, a little more elegant, a little more smooth, a little more easier drinking. The first one's a little chunkier. It feels like it needs a little more time. Let's try the third wine. I'm telling you, I don't know if you ever had Robert Craig's wine. There's no bad wine here, so I wouldn't even feel bad if I guess wrong, because they were really outstanding. The third one compared to the second one, I think the third wine to me has a little more fruit, a bigger, like more expression of the fruit. The second one has a little more floral. The first one is a little combination of everything. And the last one I'm going to put in my mouth and see what I think. Ooh, this one just like ripe, juicy, full-bodied. But soft and integrated on the mouse, and yeah, really rounded out for the fourth one. And color wise, I actually feel like the fourth one seems just slightly more concentrated as well. On the color, it's hard to tell, I know, but over here I felt like the fourth one does seem a little more kind of that feeling. But I don't want to take too much time trying to nitpick on which one I think is which, because like I said, I haven't tasted wine in a very long time. I'm just gonna do a really quick test so then we can reveal the answer and then go deeper and see, you know, where I quote unquote go wrong, go right, and see if anything surprised me. So to be honest with you, I thought the first one will be the Affinity, because it is the one that has the lowest percent of Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's a nice blend of everything. So this one to me, like I said, has a little more that chunky, like that blend feeling to it. That's why I'm actually thinking the first one is the Affinity. The second one, like I said, more herbal, more like minty, more floral note, which lead me to think is from either a cooler growing region or a wine that has, again, some Cab Franc or Merlot. So I'm gonna think this one is the second one I blind tasted is gonna be the Spring Mountain. And the last one, because it is so big and ripe, I think it stands out on the lineup. To me, I'm gonna pair it and guess that is the Stick. And of course, then that will leave the second wine, or the third wine, being the Howell Mountain Estate. Ooh, I'm nervous. Okay, let's see it. We're gonna reveal. This has been a long time since I blind tasting. Oh my God. Okay, so the first wine, I don't know if you can see it. I don't want to like tilt the wine glasses. It's the Stick. So the first one is a Stick. Wow, it's crazy because I thought it being 1 year older, it will be a little rounder, but it definitely needs a lot more time, as I said earlier, in the bottle. And by the way, they don't make very much of this. This is only 497 cases produced annually, and I talked to my importer. They only have about like 100 bottles left. I think it's pretty ridiculous. So it's a special wine. And I think the whole vineyard was 80 acres, but they only planted about 22 acres. So it's a very special wine. Wow, I did not think, I thought this is gonna be like crazy. I thought this is so much younger. That's how big it is. I feel like this needs a couple more years in a bottle and at least a couple more hours decanting. I feel like I need to like do a follow-up in the text message and see how it goes. So that was a Stick. Oh man, not doing so hot. So because that's wrong, then let's see what I thought the Stick was. This is the Howell Mountain. Okay, I don't feel too bad because the Stick, the Candlestick Vineyard is technically in the Howell Mountain AVA on the northern side. Similar in style, really big, really bold. I thought this was very satisfying and drinking really well right now. But it's their classic since they started the Howell Mountain Estate. Very, very good. Yeah, I thought it drank very good. That's why I thought that was a Stick, but... And keep in mind the price difference are very little here. I think the Affinity is only is $70. The Howell Mountain and Spring Mountain is 110, and the Stick is about 150. So it's not like we're jumping from a $20 wine to a $400 wine. So it's just really showing the terroir. This is good. I'm really enjoying the Howell Mountain, but I always had a special place in my heart for Howell Mountain wine. So yeah. Uh-oh. That means we'll see. I might not got any of them right, but that's okay. This is what we're here for. Okay, so the one I thought was Howell Mountain was their Affinity. So hey, at least I got the Spring Mountain right. The more elegant one was like, that's the one that stood out for me the most. Whew, at least I didn't wipe out. That's good. So this one is the Affinity. Now going back to it. Yeah, I guess I can see it. In comparison to what I thought was a Stick, well, what I saw was the Stick was the Howell Mountain. What I saw was the Howell Mountain was the Affinity. So just a little bit off. I think I was thrown out by how young the Stick tastes like. So it needs a lot more time. But yeah, definitely well put together, very complex. That's what I when I tasted this one, I said it has a little bit of everything. And this one, again, ready to drink now. Very well put together. now that I know the answer, it feels like, okay, I can see the combination of different fruits in there. Very good. And last but not least, as I said, the Spring Mountain, I do have a very special place in my heart for the Caffron, especially Caffron Merlot variety, the things that brings out the floral, the elegantness, that minty eucalyptus note. So yes, I was able to point out the Spring Mountain. Yep, just very, 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 very cool. Wow, this is fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I personally, I would say like honestly, if you were to try, I would say you can get some of their Howell Mountain to drink now, because that was the one I thought was drinking really well right now. Really just satisfying, big bowl put together. I think that's the sexiness of Howell Mountain. And of course, the Candlestick. Oh, also I do wanted to mention, I've heard that for their Candlestick Vineyard, because it is located in Howell Mountain, so it was affected by the 2020 Napa fire. So 10% of their vineyard was burned down. Thankfully, they harvested all of their grapes 3 to 4 days before the fire started. So they will have a 2020 vintage. So that's a great thing. And the second thing is that 10% of the vineyard was burned down, but it was mostly of their Syrah grape. Not trying to, downplay it, like it's still really traumatic, but thank goodness, because they're known for their cab for the most part, so I'm glad the Cabernet was fine. But I was very worried when I heard that their vineyard was burned down, but I'm glad it wasn't. And this is their very first vintage. It is something you can sit on in a cellar for many, many years, and I think would drink amazingly. And again, like I said, it was being bidded on some of the big shots in Napa, and it would have been like a $400, $500 per bottle wine. But I think I'm glad that it landed into Robert Craig, and their Candlestick is only $150 a bottle. So I think it's worth collecting for a really good quality Napa. And 2016, of course, is an amazing vintage. Like I said, it is still so freaking young. It needs so much more time to open up before it's ready, in my opinion, but definitely worth sitting onto. With that being said, I'm sorry I was quite far away from the camera, so really hard to answer the questions. So I'm gonna vlog off, and then I'll try to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for watching. I had fun tasting this, and I'll gladly answer any question if you have them. And I will see you again soon. Enjoy your weekend. Bye. Oh.